Okay, you remember on our floor we had a lot of holes, pits, and divots as a result of the coarse grinding. In our concrete here we have what's called a manufactured sand, which is the retains from the screening, so a screening sand. Concrete producers sometimes put in that to save expense, and unfortunately for us polished people, what happens is it becomes dislodged during the coarse grinding, so you need to fill those pits and voids. One way to do that is to come up with your own formula, and we do that by capturing the dust, the retains from the actual polishing process. So what we're doing is we're taking the powder from the floor, making our own skim coat, putting it back on the floor so it blends. So we simply would take the dust, and one formula that's worked really well for us in the past is 1 part polished retains, the dust, to 1 part Terra Fresco micro topping gray, and this is a fine version. Okay, so this is a pre-bagged micro topping that's designed to resurface existing floors. However, we found that it's a great alternative for filling the little nooks and crannies for our polished floors. So one formula that's worked well for us is 1 part polished dust to 1 part fine gray micro topping. Now remember, it really depends on what grit you're taking the powder from. You don't want to use the coarse grits because there's going to be too much spoils or chips in there from those little pieces of dislodged aggregate. So you want to take the powder from, say, an 80 grit or even a 150 grit so it's nice and fine. Do a small test. Use the 1-to-1 formula as a last result. You could go 2 parts micro topping to 1 part polished powder. What you'll always want to do is mix the powder dry. Doesn't take much. That's about it. I just want to make sure that that powder is in fact mixed before we go to the next step. And then this is a real important consideration, is the liquid that we mix into this formula is going to be 1 part polymer. That's the polymer that we use for the Terra Fresco micro topping, to 5 parts water. Now, for the demonstration of this video, we're showing you small quantities, obviously. 5 parts water to 1 part liquid. You can use larger quantities. Perhaps it might be 1 quart of polymer to 5 quarts of water. So this is a real effective way to fill those pits and divots on your polished floors. Don't skip that important step. We've mixed up our skim coat to fill the voids on the floor. Now it's time to apply the material. One way to do that is with the use of a hand trowel. You'll notice that I dumped a small quantity. In other words, I don't want to dump the whole bucket. That means I have to push too much material. And the longer it sets on the floor, the more likely it's going to freeze up or set up very quickly. You'll notice the concrete is also dark. What we've done is obtained SSD, which stands for Saturated Surface Dry. And by pre-wetting the surface like that, it's going to give us an extended working time. Notice the angle of my trowel. I'm really troweling this material down as tightly as possible.